Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with Mixed Media Mayhem. And there's mayhem on my table because I was grabbing Calvinball points. And I will go through those later, but first I'll tell you that the recipe for Mixed Media Mayhem this week is watercolors, stencils, and gold. And I've got some gold Nuvo drops spray that I'm going to use for splatters. I have some cosmic watercolors here by Vicky Bouton, and I've got a stencil from Bramble Fox that just came in my latest Foxbox Plus, and I have a photo from my 12 box project, and one of the Calvinball rules is zebra stripe, and so I've got that. Another is for striped paper. I have used this little scrap of pink and white striped paper and used a corner rounder to make a tab. Another one is to use a punch, and I have these punched circles that I punched out of some packaging, and I'm going to watercolor them in the colors that I use for the flowers. So I'm going to get started with the watercolor. There's a die cut is another of the prompts, so I've got that die cut that I'm going to try to use. I'll kind of put those out of the way. I'm just going to lay the stencil down, and I'm going to watercolor it where these things lie. Normally I might, space them around and use one of them or something like that, but I'm kind of gonna just go very lightly, and I'm gonna do it messy and unevenly, and I'm gonna do green where I think things are green. I'll do the stems and leaves of the flowers. I'll do the leaves that are out here individually. This kind of shamrock here. Somewhere, and if it's messy underneath, so much the better. I'm kind of hoping for that. And there are some butterflies in there. I'm not quite sure what color I'm going to do those. But let me get all these leaves. Any other leaves? Okay, so that should be done. I'm going to now clean my brush, and I'm going to use that same water because I'm going to use the blue, and the blue is what I'm going to use, I think, to color the butterflies. There's one there. There's one there. I have no idea how this is going to come out. I do recall the last time I used watercolor through a stencil, it came out really messy, but that's kind of what I'm going for here. So hopefully that will work out. Now I'm going to use the pink color for these flowers that are kind of off by themselves. Oops, I missed a shamrock. Kind of do that. I want it to look like almost shadows of flowers rather than perfectly drawn flowers. And I'm going to use the fuchsia color for the flowers that have stems. go back to the pink color because I missed one of the flowers there, and I missed one here, and I missed one here, and I missed one here. And now I'm going to go into the gold, leaving a little bit of pink on there, and we'll see what happens with these just dots that are around. That would actually count for my gold, but okay, now I'm going to go back to the green and do this guy. And I'm gonna clean up because I have a flower over here that needs to be fuchsia. And it's a little bit strong on there because I didn't use as much water. Now, let me come up. That looks pretty messy and horrible. And I'm going to try to fool you into thinking that's what I wanted. But what I think I'm going to do now is really load it up with splatters. And hopefully kind of just in this panel that's going to be beside the photo. And I'm intentionally using the splatters while the paint, the watercolor paint is kind of wet, so that it'll blend into some of the wet spots. You can kind of see it doing that there. Okay, now I'm going to add a tiny little stamped avocado because there's an avocado in the points list for Calvinball. Put those things aside. And let me get my little, I'll see if I can work avocados in some of these empty spaces that won't be covered by the, okay. Won't be covered by the photo. Let me do another one kind of up in here. Okay. I'll wipe off some of that gold stuff. Okay. Now, I was going to watercolor these circles. Let me do that. I really love how these things, you know, when you let it dry naturally, you get those kind of watery, I don't even know what you call it. It pools, I guess is the word. Let me spray some water in my little tray. I'll bring the tray back. And I'm going to take this pink color and kind of, and you probably cannot see that. Let me move this aside and move this up, whoops, and kind of show what I'm doing here, which is very messy, and I should be doing this on top of something so that it doesn't get on my craft mat. Okay, and that's gonna go away. And now I'm gonna do a fuchsia one. I'm gonna go with the colors of the flowers and the butterfly. And I really want a fair amount of water to kind of move that pigment around and give it some interest. And here I'm going to use this. Where's the other water? I'm kind of going to pick up some blue now and get it, and I'm going to kind of mix. I'm going to create a little bit of purple here with some fuchsia kind of blended in, and I'm just blending the fuchsia water in to get those areas of interest. Okay, now I'm going to put the watercolor off to the side and the water off to the side. And these I'm going to dry. Wipe that off. Put that up. And I'm going to dry these with this paper towel. I have no idea how much pigment that's going to lift up. It kind of left it like that, and it has some dots, but I'm okay with that because these are just going to be bits of color kind of tucked in. I'm doing them to get the punch point, and I may add, because they're solid, I may be able to add some of these tiny clear stickers to this. Now this is not dry, so let's build the photo cluster. Let's do that. I'm just gonna put this flat down on here. I cut, the photo is exactly 4 by 4. So I cut the zebra paper 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, so I have 1/8 of an inch all around. And I've got this. I'm gonna tuck in. Kind of right there. And I picked up some Smursh. There, I think that is okay. And I have this little thing that it doesn't get me any points, but I want to use it here because I love it. It is a clip that says love, and it comes from the a crate paper collection called, I don't know, something about wild. I think the word wild is in the name. So I've got these things still drying. I want to do this star I was maybe gonna watercolor it, but I think I may just put it on with a small foam dot. I think I have a sheet of dots with at least one dot left. I don't see any dots. Oop, there's one. So now I need to throw this away. Actually, I could use that as a stencil or a piece of texture on a project. I think I'll keep it. And here, put that right there. And that gets me the star point. But I kind of want something else there just to give it some interest. And this kind of, this little black and white leaf that's one of these tiny stickers, sort of brings in that black color that we've already brought in with the zebra striped mat on this. So I'm gonna put that right there. That's just a tiny little touch. And I think I'm gonna add, once I get this on there, I need to layer this behind it. There's also some gold that would get me the gold point. Let me get some adhesive on this. And put it like that. Line that up on that line. Okay. And then that gives me place to journal. I'm not going to journal right now, but I am going to take this and maybe layer it right there. Actually, I want to take the blue one. Look how gorgeous that is. It's shimmery and it's working. It's working for me. I'm really loving that. Okay, and that kind of helps with that. You know, I'm going to take this clip off, so then when I clip it, it also is clipping this on, so that kind of further reinforces it. Now, since this is going to go here, I may just go ahead and layer these things under there with some, let me get some foam tape. And I will cut this tape and use some for this one. Let this one kind of go right there. And I'll put the tape here. Kind of, it's been a while since I did a photo cluster separate while the mixed media was drying. I'll put that there, and then maybe this can go here, and then I'll find something, or maybe this one. Oh, okay, I could do that with that. Okay, so that doesn't even need, well, I'm going to put the tape, the foam tape across there, which will adhere it, and it'll also bring it up to the same level as that. And now I need some down here, so I will cut a piece. and do that. Now this is not dry yet, so I'm going to take my paper towel roll and go like so. It's going to pick up mostly the gold. I think the watercolor is dry, but the ink, the gold ink, is not. Okay, so now I've got that, and this little bit that should adhere this. I should have written my journaling. Oh, I've got some splatter on my photo. Who knew? Let's see. I'm going to move it maybe like so. That should work. Now, I had in mind that I would use these roses because what we were taking a photo of, what John was taking a photo of, was not so much James and me, but the roses. This was in January in Houston, and we had, you can't see them all, there was a little palm tree right there, and then as the length of this little entryway that kind of went up to the front door, that was about maybe, I want to say 10 feet, and we had rose bushes filling that entire space, and they were all in bloom. And actually, I said that was in January. It was the 1st of February. And of course, February 14th is when you prune roses in the Houston climate zone. And it was, I had just said to John, there's no way I'm going to prune these flowers off these rose bushes because they're just gorgeous. And he said, okay, let's get a picture of them and then you can prune them. So 2 weeks later, I was out there pruning. I'm going to maybe use one rose right there. And I'm going to, let's see, I'll put it on a piece of foam. Okay, let me check the Calvinball points, the Calvinball rules. Star, we got one of those. A die cut, that's what that is. Striped pattern paper, that's the pink and white tab. Stamp, that's the avocado. Green, also avocado, but also the leaves. And avocado is the avocado. The zebra stripe is the matting behind that, and the punch is what I used to cut out those circles. Now, I want to add some little flowers, similar flowers to the ones that are in here, kind of in among these, with these stickers. They're little tiny tiny ones in here that are just so cute, and I think that they'll, in this kind of use, they'll be just ideal. Let's see, we have another of these little black and white leaf sprigs. Let's go over here and use one. Oops, it needs to stick to the paper, I suppose. And there's another little black and white daisy, kind of. So I'll put it right there. And let's see if we have anything else. I don't have a title other than this word love. I could take this and put it on there, since it's a clear sticker. That looks kind of nice. Here's another one of those little flowers that would look cute kind of in here. So you get the abstract flowers, the abstraction of flowers. Let me put it, see if I put that in the middle of that. What does that look like? That's kind of weird, but it is what it is. I've got another one here that could go in this flower, and I have another one like that that might be cute right there in the middle. That kind of gives it more of a floral look. Let me put that in there. So I've got all the Calvinball points I need, and the Mixed Media Mayhem was for watercolor, stencils, and gold. I've got gold in a couple places, and I used watercolor through the stencils, and I think we're done. And I will I'll add some journaling. The date was February 1st, and this was 1987? And the location was the rock fence house. And the story is prune. So it's like, who's gonna prune those roses? And I'll write down here. And of course, we took the photo at the time to take the picture of the roses. But now, of course, it's the story is in 1987, I look like that and James looked like that. And wow, has time flown. So I'm saying I didn't want to prune the roses because the blooms were so gorgeous. Okay, and that was my first real attempt at growing hybrid tea roses. They took a lot of maintenance, but it was just right there by the door, and it was relatively easy to do, and I loved it. I also have, there's one thing I didn't use on the last layout when I opened this packet of chipboard stickers, gosh, was this arrow. And of course, I pulled out the one that has the wrong color arrow. I'm sorry, this is taking forever. And I want to use it now because it's a color in the I'm going to use it here. Just run it across the flower. That's an individual flower, that's an individual leaf, so it's not really hurting anything. and it points to the journaling. So that seems to be okay. And I've got this little photo corner that has some gold, and so that's going to reinforce the gold. It's not necessary for the Mixed Media Mayhem to satisfy that, because that's already been satisfied. But if you've used gold in one place and you use it a couple more times, it just kind of reinforces it. It makes all of the gold sort of stand out. So I'm using a couple photo corners. They have the gold in different places. They're different designs, but I kind of like that. And I've got them kind of in the middle of some gold splatters. So I think we're done. And I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next Friday. I'm going to be on the road, but I'm going to try to do my page and my video anyway. It's going to be strange. I have no idea. I will not have a video filming setup per se, but I will have a holder that my phone can fit on, and it'll, I think I can tilt it so that it tilts down and shows the page. Otherwise, I'll work on the page and then show it, and talk through it. It'll be a short one. So thanks for watching. Bye.